All right, welcome back, Inebri-ites. This is Andy of the Inebri-art podcast. I'm going to first off apologize for my voice. I'm kind of struggling with a cold here, so please excuse that and any click-clacking of a cough drop you may hear. So I'm joined today with Brian Kerins, musician and Cape resident, and so welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me so much.
So I was telling you earlier, this was kind of a weird roundabout way how you came to the show. Was I was talking to a bartender, and she actually recommended you. She said that you were in a band called Flydown.
Still am.
Still am. Sorry, I didn't mean to imply that you weren't. But so you played on the Cape. You have that band. You do some solo stuff too. You were saying there you have an album coming up.
Yes, I do. Yeah, proud to say I actually got into the whole gig for writing and recording originally. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, I've been performing out on the around regionally around this this area probably for a long time. I think 25 years or something. And the main forte has been the cover scene. Yeah. And so
well, that's how you get gigs.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is right or wrong. It's just that's how it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can slip in, take the liberties.
Right, yeah. Oh, there's one of my originals, but,
See if a tomato goes flying across the room, or how many people you can get to walk out
right,
in,
yeah.
in
how many
3
people
minutes
leave,
time.
Yeah. So when did you start playing guitar?
I got into it when I was about 8 years old.
Wow, that's early.
Yep. I remember, I had an uncle who played in bands.
Yep.
And had a grandmother who passed away and moved in with him, and he had these guitars kicking around the house. Mm-hmm. My grandmother had one of those old player pianos.
Yep.
We put the scroll.
Oh, sure, yeah. And then played by itself.
You could play evil, pranks on the kids and make them think the house was haunted, and at night, put them to bed with a lullaby on the player piano. No, they never did that to me. So it was a short scale player piano, and had that kicking around, some percussive stuff. I ended up getting a 3/4 scale, I think, bass guitar at that age. My uncle just had all the vinyls. He performed around the Cape himself, and he had a band called The Strange.
The Strange?
Yeah. And he was who got me into it. Unfortunately, he passed about 4 years ago. But he had all the vinyls, and I was introduced.
So what were like the bands that caught your attention at that early age?
It was a lot of. There used to be a radio station around called B101, the old station, and it was a lot of stuff kind of that soundtrack where it was a lot of 50s and early 60s stuff, a lot of Motown, and it was Fats Domino and Elvis and the Four Seasons, all that great stuff. And I was introduced to the Beatles at that age. At 8 years old, I had no idea who the Beatles were, or if they were important or not, or who they meant to anybody.
Right.
But I saw them at that age, and they all looked the same, and they were all having the time of their lives. And I thought the songs were amazing, and they really brought me into their world.
My son's just got into the Beatles because they're playing it in marching band. And that was kind of like a gateway. So now, he's listening to the Beatles
great.
too.
It's so wonderful how they just break the barriers with all age gaps and universally around. It's a testament to greatness to me.
Do you feel like it's easier or more accepted? Because I feel like we're pretty close in age, which is awesome. I'm so excited because normally I get people be like, "Oh, I was born in 85." I feel like when...
I know the song 1985.
But I feel like when I was a kid, it was much more regimented. You were into metal, or you were into rap, or you were into pop. I feel like nowadays it's much more accepted to kind of be into a little bit of everything. I feel like the lines have blurred so much that... do you see that as well, or...?
I think I definitely see a lot... I think I agree with you that where I see a lot of different styles... being integrated, which I think is a wonderful thing. I think it's great, kind of like with, you could take the, basic blues tune with the 1-4-5 progression, but, they found so many inspiring ways to do it, and going from Robert Johnson and Muddy Waters up to players like Clapton, up to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and
I love Stevie Ray Vaughan.
And then with the Beatles being a band that kind of took well, I think the Beatles seemed to be one of the first pop bands to start writing what would be considered avant-garde, or to be incorporating instruments from faraway lands and all this great stuff, and adding weird things like augmented and diminished chords to pop songs. What is going on here?
You've gone beyond my music range here.
So I thought that was cool. I think on a level, even back then, that there were bands doing that. I think the White Album, for instance, incorporates the Beatles' White Album incorporates jazz and heavy metal and blues and hard rock and classical.
And I feel like even their lyrics were like very poetic and surreal, which wasn't kind of a thing before. It was kind of the Beach Boys and stuff like that. The love songs, and it was very, I don't want to say mundane, this is not the right word, but pedestrian. Like, everyone understood what they were talking about. And you get to the Beatles, I am the Walrus, and people are like, what are they talking about?
Right. Looking up a dictionary, cuckoo.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
How do you spell that? Like K-O-C-O? Yeah. So, and when did you start kind of joining bands and playing out?
So, let me see. Started playing out. Well, I got into my first band. I was actually, I remember I was a sophomore in high school. I was 15.
Yeah.
And I had to tell my friends that I can't make it down to the basketball court today, or the football field, or wherever we're going. I need to go on sneak on stage in a 21 plus bar and play gigs.
Oh, really? That's nice. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience getting started early. I'm actually, speaking of the age thing, I'm finally at the first time right now in the current lineup with my primary music projects. I'm actually the oldest one right now, and I was always the youngest one in the band. So I'm it's kind of a transitional thing for me. I'm coming to grips with it.
So now you're kind of like that leadership role in the band. Kind of like you're in charge. They look to you.
I'm probably that old, deaf person. No one listens to. I don't know if I'll ever.
We started 7 or 9.
Yeah, right. I'll be that one.
That's nice. Yeah, I have a bad habit of. I don't know if it's a bad habit, but I tend to book people who are way younger. So
I do remember certain things of the late '80s. For the 1985 ones who were born and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yes, we dug. I remember Fraggle Rock too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, how has the music scene changed in the area from when you started?
Well, I would have to say, in a word or less, drastically.
For the better or for the worse?
It's a very changed scene. Well, it's an interesting thing. I would say the way that the scene used to be. I'd say I don't know in life, if ever, for better or for worse, with new music I see, every generation I find some great stuff out there. There's always something.
I meant the local scene,
the local scene, going that I'd say it seemed to me because I started gigging around 91, 92, 93.
Yeah.
And was playing out regularly by that point, and then ever since, really, right in this area. So I've been able to see it evolve, and it seems like there used to be. Sorry, I'm going way back in the.
That's fine.
It obviously modern country was not tearing it up.
Yeah,
and there, things like that, for live bands, it seemed as though the majority of them that were going on around were a lot more hard rock. There were a lot more rock bands.
Rock.
Yeah, and
did you have big hair?
I did. Oh yeah, I used to. Oh yeah. I was rocking out like Eddie Vedder style or whatever, and
shorts with the long johns underneath.
Oh, you had to, like military, green
military shorts,
yeah,
yeah,
boots.
Yep.
Feel
and the Doc Martens, yeah.
And yeah, like I remember it seemed as though with bands that were really like established around the area, it really seemed this was just commonplace week in and week out. It seemed. You'd have places like the Old Approach in Buzzards Bay, or the Mill Hill Club, or there were some clubs that are like no longer.
God, I literally remember the Mill Hill.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
You and I are definitely we're proving it.
Like I forgot all about that until you just brought that up.
And it seemed like. One of my first gigs was over in Falmouth. There's a place now called J.R. Brody's.
Yeah.
And before that, it was called McGann's for many, many, many years in East Falmouth. And before that, in the early 90s, it was called, what the heck was it called? The Irish Embassy.
Yeah.
And they had one there and in Boston. Anyhow, even that room, too. It seemed as though, like, the bands playing around, it was primarily rock, but there used to be... It was literally, cover charges a lot of places, lines out the door.
Yeah.
And it was an event to go see live bands. In a way that I don't think that, people say, unfortunately, like, that well, if I'm going to be brutally honest here.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I wear my heart on my sleeve. The economy, a lot of people will say in a lot of ways, I think kind of across the board, a lot of ways is down from what it was anyway. But adding to that, that's one way that I'd say I've seen the game definitely drastically change, because you go and you're not seeing. And again, I mean, it makes sense to compare 20 years ago is not going to be the same as today, and it never is going to be. 20 years from now will be different. But it was very long hair band and a lot of rock.
It's like so many memories just like flooded back. I remember my girlfriend, who then became my wife and now is my ex-wife. We used to go see a Pearl Jam cover band, and they used to play around here all the time. We used to go see them all the time.
What are they called?
God, it's killing me. I want to say there was a fish in the title.
Yes, they used to play like the Improper Bostonian, I think, regularly in down in Dennis.
I cannot remember what the name is, but
that was the
it's not big. It's not big fish. It's like something fish.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is gonna bother me all night.
Oh, it's gonna kill me now. God damn it!
Do you want me to Google it?
Yeah. Hey, research. 02. Yeah. 02 Pearl Jam cover band, Massachusetts. That's why I keep him around, so he can look shit up. But so that's like, I started off in like junior high. I got like big into like metal, Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, and then like grunge broke, and I was at just the right age, you know. And
so you dug the whole grunge?
Oh yeah, like hook, line. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Holy shit!
Boom,
yeah, that's awesome. That's crazy. I hadn't thought about them in years. But I remember I made my buddy, because I didn't have my license yet, drive me to the Hanover Mall, to Record Town.
I love the Hanover Mall.
Yep.
Back then, for you 80s kids, they used to have a place, Child World.
Yeah. I saw an ad. Someone posted an ad about Child World on Facebook the other day.
Really?
And Record Town was there, and I bought Pearl Jam 10 in the long box.
Oh, yeah?
Back when they had long boxes. And my buddy's like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's
I had that, for the CD?
Yeah. And he went away to college. He came back, and like everybody was listening to it. So it was just like, I was probably like sophomore in high school. So I was just like just at the right time. And then I saw them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like over the summer.
I saw that. So, like, apparently, like, who was it? Neil Young was going to induct them, but he got ill.
Yeah.
And so they had David Letterman, I think.
Yeah, David Letterman did it. Yep. And the reason why I started watching it because Journey got inducted, and the drummer for Journey went to my high school.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to see, like, Eddie Vedder did not hold up good. He looks old. It's crazy. I suppose we all do, but
guys, still like still rocking out. I love it when I see like and like growing up on the Beatles to see Paul and Ringo out there in the 70s, doing it. I'm like, love it.
So How many projects do you currently have running? Because you have Flydown, you have your own thing.
Yeah, I had a few. Had my fingers in a few pots going on at a time. We've got the original project going on right now, Flydown.
Yep.
And I've got a third project right now going on. Speaking of the Beatles, a Beatles tribute.
Yeah.
Which is it's a real blast. It's fun playing the music that got you wanting to do it.
Right.
To begin with.
And you guys may be playing. Oh, I don't even think I mentioned that we're recording at the New World Tavern,
New World, yeah.
which isn't our normal place to record. But
Nice to be back.
So you guys may be playing here in February. You said.
Yes. We're talking about it right now. It's in the works, possibly within the first week or two of February. Hopefully, waiting for confirmation on it.
Yeah, nice. So if people wanted to keep posted on that, where are they going to look? Is there like a Facebook cover page?
Actually, yep. The official
Words.
website. It's. I always try to say whenever I'm out on the town, I'll say, "Let's fly like a bird."
Yeah.
Down word. Fly down. Or for the layman, yes. Like, yes, your fly's down. Another way to put it. It is Flydown. It's just the band name. It's flydownband.com. And there is no navigation required. You don't have to deal with anything like audio recordings or photos or links. This is the most basic site you've ever been to.
So it's just like what's going on? Like
you type flydownband.com. That calendar's going to pop right up. And
oh,
you'll know
nice.
where we are. Yeah. And so I use that for everything that
it's kind of like all your projects. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has all the Flydown dates, which primarily the bulk of the shows is Flydown. We do, typically we can do anywhere throughout the year. Maybe 4 or 5 nights a week. Sometimes, up to 6 or 7 days. However, there's a comments section on the side of the calendar. And we'll post if it's a Beatles show. It'll say specifically,
Beatles show,
band is going on here. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
So this is your gig. This is all you do, which is awesome. At what point did you get to quit your day job and just?
Before this, I was driving a tow truck for almost 10 years. I was, I was your friendly AAA guy.
Yeah.
And I believed in it. I was just telling myself, Elvis Presley was a truck driver from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Look what happened to him. And, you get to meet people that way. I once went out, and it's a true story, I swear it. I got to go out and change Robert Kraft's tire.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
And, I thought I'd be pummeled by security guards. I'll never forget, I was in my early 20s or whatever, and it was the summer after the Pats won their first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I get called out, and he was a 240's the Massachusetts club code on a AAA card, and he was a 240 plus gold card. I won't give any of the rest of the numbers away. I don't have them, but you're either a 240 plus or a 240 basic.
Yeah.
And I was like, Robert Kraft. Oh, okay, that's an interesting name. Get out there, and actually he came up and greeted me.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because when I stand up, I'm sitting down right now, and I only look like I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
But when I stand up, I'm about 6'5". So he saw me, and he was like. Oh yeah, he was asking me,
yeah.
I didn't say, oh, you are so-and-so. And he said, what did he say? He said, I remember it vividly. He said, do you like football? You play football? He said, what do you think of the Pats? They had a pretty nice season, huh?
Fishing for compliments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was sitting there going, oh yeah, that Belichick and that, Robert Kraft, genius. He was kind. I think he even might have tipped me well, tipped me nicely too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been such a wasted thing if it was me. So he'd have been like, how about them Patriots? And I'm like, yeah, they're a team, I guess. Sure.
See, well, I was also not only surprised that he was there, with me while I was changing the tire, but you're also you're working for those tips too.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding. Right? Oh. No, he was a very friendly guy.
Yeah.
I meant everything I said, Mr. Kraft.
Also, another big listener of ours. So, have you ever had? I mean, you must have, for as long as you've played, kind of those shows that blew you away, that the stars aligned and the place was crazy.
Yeah.
Where was your favorite show that you played?
Oh, I've had some fun ones. I've had if I were to think quickly of, I was always upset because every band member that I would ever play with had opened up for a national act.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck? I've been playing in all these bands. I've got 20 friends over here. They've all opened up for national acts, and I'm in bands with every one of them. Right? And I was like, I've been doing this.
Is that like a big thing from the Cape? Because I know they have like the music circuit, the Melody Tent or whatever it is down there.
Yeah.
Do like a lot of local bands open up for?
Yeah, like people can. Yeah, like they used to places on the Cape that would be known to have them. The Wellfleet Beachcomber was always one.
Yeah.
The Melody Tent, Puffer Bellies, which is I believe another one that's no longer with us anymore. But they used to have big acts too. I remember they were closely affiliated with Sundancers.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if I heard that Sundancers had at a time or two also. So highlights for me thus far. Still working at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
sure.
I'd say highlights for me. I played a new. Just a few of them come to mind. I played a New Year's Eve show. Some years back. On the main stage at the Middle East in Boston.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up meeting, Steve Tyler's daughter was there that night. I ended up meeting them and got to hang out with them for the night.
That's cool.
And yeah, that was a fun one. I played this past summer. I was on a bill. My Beatles band. We did a show. And we got to be on the same bill as the keyboardist of the Cars.
Oh yeah, that was fairly local, wasn't it? I feel like I saw him around here.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah. And he was amazing. Really, really laid back.
Yeah.
Wonderful person. He actually ended up. Paul McCartney had a solo album. He had a big comeback album, late '80s, called "Flowers in the Dirt."
Was that when he did the Ebony and Ivory with?
No, that was in the '80s with Stevie.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder. Well, it was in the '80s. Yes, it was still right around that time. This was like the very end of the '80s, beginning of the '90s. He I'm trying to think of the exact year on the album.
Yeah.
He came out with that. McCartney had an album that his name is Greg, the keyboardist of the
Cars.
Of the Cars, yeah. And he actually performed on McCartney's album.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he apparently also has an album out where he plays all ukulele.
Really?
Yeah, he does Beatles songs ukulele style, and I guess that he overdubbed a bunch of ukulele stuff to kind of have a ukulele symphony with all him doing. So really neat stuff he was doing. Another one would be I got to perform. I had a funny moment happen by chance this summer where I was doing a benefit show, and it was a celebrity event. And so I got to set up. Scott Zolak was there from former Patriot and the host of the sports talk show. Nancy Kerrigan was there, and Jason Veritek. And I remember this lady came up to me and asked me, do you take requests?
Yeah.
I was like, I could try. And this was completely by chance. We were just, like catering and playing whatever.
Right.
Well, we're playing all sorts of random stuff. And she asked, do you know Blackbird by the Beatles? I was like, why? I happen to know the Beatles just a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was a little girl there with her. She was like, this is for my daughter. I was like, sure, yeah, we'll be happy to play. What's the name? And, she said her name. And it turned out to be, Jason Veritek's daughter.
Oh, wow.
And so I started playing it, and Veritek came over, and he grabbed his daughter, and they were dancing alone on the dance floor.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm sitting there like Jim, and I'm like, oh, man, this is
that's got to be so surreal.
Yeah, it's something that I'm not going to forget, know? Because I've always thought Veritek was just, amazing,
Yeah.
Just, two World Series, team captain, and Hall of Famer, and I've always loved Veritek anyhow, so it was really, really a special moment. It's neat to have played on some stages. Did a gig. I've done gigs here at Memorial
Hall,
where I guess Bob Dylan has played and Joan Baez. And
they've had Art Garfunkel was there this past summer, and Gordon Lightfoot.
It's huge.
I mean, I know Twisted Sisters played there. Like they've had big names. It's crazy. Have you had a chance to play at the Spire yet?
I have. Yes, I've actually about 3 years running now. I think 3 or 4 years they've done an annual Beatles.
Oh yeah, like every summer they have like that. Yeah.
Well, it's usually I think it's around January or February.
Oh, is it really that early? Oh.
Yeah, and we've been there. I think at each one except for one.
Oh,
we were there last winter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we're kind of waiting to see if if word comes out that they're going to do it again this year.
Yeah,
it should be wonderful. It'd be great.
I just saw
it's an amazing event they run.
They have the lead singer of Stryper playing there.
Oh yeah,
Michael Sweet.
Yes,
because he lives in the Pine Hills.
I've actually met him.
Oh, have you?
Yep.
Is he a cool dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a great person. Yeah. I think that I actually might have. I think the way that I did was actually through the tow truck all the years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It was not even music related. Yeah, it was totally real. Yeah. I said, tow truck drivers get around. You'd be like,
hey, famous people have to, get flat tires too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I knew I was like, if I just change the right person's flat tire, maybe I can get myself a music deal.
Did you ever get him in the truck and just start singing?
Yes.
Like, absentmindedly.
What's a really funny thing?
Yourself?
I was being sometimes sometimes you take life seriously and you take your career and your dreams seriously.
Yeah.
And sometimes on other days you really don't.
Yeah.
And I was driving one day and I'm sitting there telling myself, oh, I'm just driving,
Yeah.
And one of the I probably scared him off. One of the one of the owners of 18,000 Dunkin' Donuts around the area got in the truck, and he's telling me about about who he is, and so I start coming up with jingles right in front of him.
The guy's probably like, get me out of this truck, get me out of this truck, get me out of this truck.
I swear it, yes. Yep. I remember he told me what their slogan was, and then I was just doing wordplay with it and just having fun with it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So what are you listening to now? What newer stuff?
Oh, well, as far as 2000s music goes, I find that a lot of the stuff, what always gets me with music is I like, especially the more that you do it, I tend to like intricate melodies, intricate chord, complex chord changes, and when songs take twists and turns that you wouldn't expect, and you can kind of feel the aha moment that they had in it. You can say, oh, that's that's a great twist. It's a great melody. It's great the way that it works. And so I think a lot of them, a lot of indie stuff actually. If you would categorize it as indie, I've got a drummer who knows way more than I do about it. So, but I'd say I don't know, for 2000s, like the Shins, I think are neat. Yeah. I was watching a Netflix movie, random thing, and I don't even climb mountains. I was like, what's this? And you get into that, just like Spotify, you start watching one thing, and then they link you to 50,000.
You should watch this, and you're like,
so it was like mountain climber week. By the time that I finished it, my beard had grown out. I was wearing a plaid shirt that I didn't even buy. I don't even know what the heck happened. And I was there on the mountain. But there was a band at the end of it. I always find these soundtracks, with this stuff that I would never have heard of otherwise. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, this stuff's brilliant. There's a really neat band that I heard called the Besnard Lakes. I'm like, what kind of name of a band is that?
That's a weird name, yeah.
It's a weird name, yeah. And, I mean, growing up, I mean, even though I was introduced to that 50s stuff, I mean, in 50s, early 60s, the 70s were massively influential on me. So growing up, I always liked the weird stuff anyway. Yeah. I loved, I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. Yep. And I know they kind of achieved the thing about Floyd, and I'm just kind of ranting here now, just rambling on.
That's our podcast. That's
okay, cool.
What happens.
I know that they're kind of known. They went global with Dark Side. Yeah. And then you had stuff like the Wall.
Yep.
Wish You Were Here.
The Wall was huge in my high school.
It gets me. What made them actually, climb the top of the mountain? I was introduced to them. I heard the Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. And it changed my life instantly. And it was one of those times I knew I was done. Right then and there, I said, "Oh my gosh, who are these guys?" And but after discovering all of that stuff, that whole body of work of theirs, I went back in time.
Yeah.
And it was going pre-Dark Side that helped them kind of climb the mountain and brush shoulders with the Beatles for
right. Yeah.
among some of my most I have a lot more but among some of my very top most influential artists. For anyone listening, strongly recommended Pink Floyd albums. Metal, not like like metal, like the not metal like the like something you'd find on the table of elements. Metal with 2 Ds, like you're meddling in something. A great Pink Floyd album. There's another one that they have. I don't even know if it says anything on the cover. It's just a cow sitting there.
Oh yeah, I know that cover. Yeah.
Adam Hart Mother has some great moments on it. Relics is a great compilation album for their early stuff.
Yep.
Too much good stuff. If I were to say tracks, I'd say individual tracks. Maybe Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun. Green is the Color. Julia Dream. Echoes, obviously.
Is there like one band that everyone else is on board with and you just can't? Like mine, AC/DC. Just don't care, not interested, don't like them. I get it, but it's just not my thing.
I don't know. I couldn't really say. Because I don't know, ones that everyone likes. I can usually find something redeeming about some, when, some reason why they've caught such attention. I guess, and I always give props to it. Being a songwriter, myself, I know that whether you're writing, a masterpiece or pop cheese or whatever. To go out there and
there's something to be said about writing pop cheese. That's not easy either.
Either end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. If it's really catchy, hit making pop cheese.
Right.
Right. It took took labor, and it's it's funny. You hear a song, you hear somebody rhyme, rhyme and do their thing, and the song's about this, and and it very well may be hinted at indirectly or directly in the title. And so I'm going to sing about it. And you don't think much of it, but then when you're singing your own lyrics, even if you think they're clever and just like really clean, simple lyrics, it still is always on a level really putting yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have an album in the near future?
Yeah, I've been working on it with my great friend, Max Cohen.
Yeah.
And thus, to this point, it's primarily... been the two of us. We went out to a studio in Western Mass to lay down some piano tracks, organ tracks, and drum tracks.
Yeah.
We just wanted the proper soundproofing, and the proper setup to really catch the sound of a drum set. But what we can do on our own, which is an amazing thing about technology to me these days, Pro Tools and all this stuff, where it used to take a factory to go in and record and stuff, and now people are doing it on a laptop.
Yeah, to think about what this podcast would have taken 10, 15 years ago, it'd be crazy. And now we just do it with a microphone and a laptop, anywhere, as long as we have an outlet. So you came all the way down. You're going to play some songs for us?
Yes, I would love to. And I just want to say, if I may,
sure, yeah,
that I want to give a shout out to Max, who's been such an integral part of this whole process. He has helped. In innumerable ways, and has been a wonderful collaborator with this stuff. We're going to be hopefully releasing an album within the next matter of months here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when it comes out, the information will be on the website, which was flydownband.com.
Exactly.
And so people can check that out there. And do you have like a estimated like date? Are you talking like March or?
Yeah, maybe March, April.
Yeah.
Of roughly like 2023.
2023? Yeah. That's plenty of time. So we encourage our listeners to check that out. You can follow Flydown on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. And so thanks for joining us, and let's
thanks so much for having me.
Let's hear what you got.
Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
I guess I'll just start off saying these are a couple of original ones that have been recorded and written and printed and officially copyrighted, and they are in the works for an album that's pending, hopefully coming out in a matter of months. And so anyhow, this is a track I wrote called String. Give it a go.
me out to wander free, to find my way along the crowded streets today. Oh, I wonder why, in a state of love and trust, we wash away the sins we've all been guilty of. How I wonder why, in the rain I can see the way it came undone. Feel the same as it did for days and days before. Love is a river that runs endlessly, like a stream runs out to sea, like a stream runs out to sea, like a stream runs out to sea, like a stream runs out to sea. Stop me.
I really stretched my hand for the 9 chord on that one song. It's the hardest song that I've ever played on a guitar, so I shouldn't have written it. Now I'm probably going to suffer through the rest of it, right, because my hand's now cramped. Yeah, I'm realizing I'm going to have to like detune the guitar, find a new way to play it, because it's ridiculous.
It's just, you can't reach.
I dare anybody alive to on an acoustic too to play that for 5 minutes. It's all right. Yeah. Do I have time for 2 more quick little ditties?
Yeah.
So that is a song called Stream, about like inner, kind of inspiration. I was kind of driven for kind of emo, kind of hard rock avenue I was taking with that. This right here is kind of an acoustic-y, throw a Hammond B3 or something and some strings in with it also. This is a tune called Never Say Goodbye. Not Bon Jovi's, right? He did.
No, it's not a cover?
This is, yes. No.
Say goodbye to you. I never wanna feel the way I do when I'm alone and tangled up inside. You know that I can't hide the love I have for you. With everything you do, it seems to me my life has changed. My eyes begin to see. I finally found out what it really means. That all I'll ever need is the love you have for me. Never say goodbye to you. I'll never say it forever. It's the worst thing that I could do, and I'd never do better. Never say that you want to go away, or that you long for yesterday. You know I need you. I need you by my side. I won't lie or take advantage of your pride. I couldn't even if I tried. You know that I need you. There's nothing that I'd hide, and I'll never say goodbye to you. I'll never say it forever. It's the worst thing that I could do, and I'd never do better. Never say goodbye. I'll never say goodbye. Never say goodbye. Never say
All right, I guess if I could do an introduction for this last ditty or number, as I like to put them. Let me see. I'm a 40-year-old kind of guy. Wrote this one in my teens, and then I learned more about music and grew up, and I did a whole lot of editing to it to fashion it to be a proper old pot boiler. I think the Beatles used to call their real cookers their hits. Not saying it's a hit, but it is copyrighted. So this is another song of mine that is fully copyrighted that I guard savagely, and I send this one out with love. It's called True Love.
It's true love. Oh yeah, it's true love. Your touch is so irresistible in your eyes. Tell me all I need to know. Yeah, oh yeah, it's true love. It's true love. They say you can't steal what's stolen, but babe, my heart is always showing them wrong. Always, we will last forever. True love will long endure. They say you can't steal what's stolen, but babe, my heart is always showing them wrong. Always, we will last forever. True love will long endure. Your love, I never could reject it because I lose it when I get it. Oh yeah, it's true love. Yeah, oh yeah, it's true love. Oh yeah, yeah, it's true love.
All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to check out our other podcast. There's the Bar Talk podcast. There's Old Colony Cast. And, of course, the Inebri-art podcast along with Jam Packed. You can find all those on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you're on some sort of service and you can't find it, let us know, and we'll help you out and or add our podcast with that too. You can contact us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com and follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Inebri-art. And feel free to send us some tips, ideas, advice, hate mail, whatever it is, you can get us there. And again, thanks for listening.